Right, what it do, y'all? How we doing? Hopefully, you just join me for that breathwork practice. If not, maybe you want to go back to it. Maybe you want to do it at the end. Just did a simple mantra meditation. And now I'm going to talk about a couple things. One, how humans seek pleasure and avoid pain, and how that plays into your daily routine. Going to talk about how pleasure seeking in our current society has caused dopamine dysregulation and how you can incorporate a dopamine fast into your life in order to reset and bring you closer to contentment, which is on the way to joy. Maybe hit on two books that I'm currently reading, The Power of Now and Millionaire Success Habits. Talk about how the more energy you use, the more energy comes back to you. So most people think that the more energy they use, like it's a depleting finite resource, but energy is infinite. So the more you use, the more your body will understand this is how much energy we need to produce. This is how much energy we're going to be using. So we're going to start producing more and more. And that's really how you get out of a low frequency state. So that being said, I'm going to share my screen, get into a couple of different things. We'll start with right here. It's like Andrew Huberman. Maybe you know him, maybe you don't. He's a neurobiologist and ophthalmologist at Stanford University. He's really, really popular. And some of the things that he talks about that he incorporates into his own life, things that he highly recommends, with the data of the research behind why and how to incorporate these things into your life, what time to do certain things. And some of the things here you'll see what he talks about is exercise, meditation, ice baths, right? These are all ways to regulate your dopamine. Now, we're in an instant gratification society, and it doesn't exactly work like instant gratification creates a dopamine hit. That's not how it exactly works. However, for this case, we will say that's people's that's the layman's understanding of dopamine. So we'll kind of stick with that. So we are at a instant gratification time, right? And that's amazing. It's profound. It's ridiculous. We're in a society that is, so affluent that we have these amazing technologies at our fingertips, literally all day long. It's unprecedented. So we have the ability, right? If you're bored, if you got nothing to do, or even if you do have something to do, if you're trying to distract yourself, like most people are, or even if they're not trying to, they end up distracting themselves. You have a distraction device in your pocket at all times. So you can take that out and you can look at literally anything. Now, what do people normally look at? They're looking at TikTok, right? There's something called TikTok brain. TikTok brain is obviously a new phenomenon in which certain areas of people's brain, which is about transferring short-term memory into long-term memory, is shrinking. So people's ability to have long-lasting memories is shrinking because we are on a look at the shining, flashing object cycle currently, where we are having, attention. The average person's attention span, I think it's like 12 seconds or something. And that's like double a TikTok video. I think TikTok videos are normally like 6 seconds. And so people are, just mindlessly looking at these videos, and they're not converting the short term into long-term memories, which to me just it feels like pointlessness, right? And that is why so many people feel so terrible after spending an hour or more on their phone, whether it be on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, right? You didn't get anything out of it, and you're not going to remember. If you watch 100 videos, maybe you'll convert 2, 3 videos. The rest, they just, where do they go? They just disappear, as so does your life. So now we have the ability, there's access to these things that in a survival way we used to need, we used to crave, we used to desire. And now we can just get in a car, something that didn't exist, and drive, depending on where you live, probably not too far, to an abundance of food choices, and all of which pretty much are not good for you. And so like that becomes more of like a hobby. It's not even something you do when you're hungry, right? You just do it because you did it yesterday, or because you're bored, or you want something to do, so you eat, right? Not valid. Or even worse, you could have your phone, you have all these delivery apps, right? You have Uber Eats, you have Grubhub, you have DoorDash, whatever, and you could just click a couple buttons. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't even have to stand up. Click a couple buttons, and then boom, that food is at your door in 20 minutes to an hour, right? It's insane. It's problems of prosperity. We used to have the problem of too many people starving, and I would, argue, I think no one should be starving. We have so much food. We have an absolute abundance of food. The amount of food that gets thrown out in the garbage every single year by grocery stores is laughable. So it's not a food shortage at all. Don't let anybody convince you of that. Like, a lot of times people say we can't support more of a population because we can't even support the people we have now. That's completely not true. We can 100% support everyone we have. It's just a choice not to. So the the food issue is, oh man, lost my train of thought. Going on, see, go on tangents, talk about save the world, and you lose your train of thought. Um, hmm. Instant gratification. Okay, so food, delivery, you have your phone, you got all these social media sites, you got like, right, look at this guy, look at these guys here. This all too obvious discrepancy. So the body is designed to avoid pain and move towards pleasure, right? But now pleasure is too easy. And when you get pleasure without putting in effort, then it actually feels bad. So we're designed that effort is supposed to bring us pleasure. So you got this guy who's working out, right? He's putting himself through theoretical pain now. And then his dopamine spikes. Then his dopamine gets regulated by his meditation. Then his dopamine crashes because he put himself in an ice bath. But the effects afterwards is that your dopamine spikes, right? So these are kind of ways that you can regulate your own dopamine. And then we got this dude on the bottom who's just, his life is just all bad. Most people I know are like this guy on the bottom. And this guy on the bottom is completely run by his ego. Right? That's something we talked about yesterday. The guy on the top might be run by his ego too, but he is actually kind of massaging his ego in a positive manner. And you would definitely find you're closer to egolessness through exercise, meditation, ice baths, walking in nature, getting sunlight. but you're more of just a regulated human. This is a hormonal game. You are a chemical suit, and we don't think about it that way at all. But that's the truth. We're just a bag filled with chemicals, and you can participate in which chemicals are dispersed in you, right? So here you have Andrew Huberman's morning routine. Morning routine is something I've talked about a lot. So he's got a natural 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. wake up. The morning hydration we've talked about. All right, he drinks these specific products. I haven't tried athletic greens either, but I've tried a lot of things like athletic greens that actually taste really good, which is really important if it's something that you're going to be incorporating into your daily routine, especially something so healthy. Also, pink Himalayan salt, the easiest thing. We've talked about that. Putting a little dash in your water really makes a difference for your hydration throughout the day. So then he talks about the benefits of AG1. He does some yoga nidra, which is basically meditation. And he says replenishes dopamine, reduces cortisol, and reduces total sleep needed. That is a great hack of being able to meditate into and out of sleep. Really does lessen the amount of sleep that you need, and also lessens the grogginess and the disorientation that many hours of sleep may bring. So talks about sun exposure. The first thing he does, and a great thing to do as soon as you wake up in the morning, is to get outside right into the sun, get that sun in your eyes, maybe go for a walk. And that act plays a huge role in the timing of your hormonal secretion. So if you get that morning sun at like 6 a.m., then at 3 o'clock, instead of crashing, you will actually, maybe you will feel tired, but you will actually be at the most regulated chemical balance of your day. So you'll actually be ready to go and do anything at that time. It's not necessarily the best time to do anything, right? It's not really the time you want to be doing a workout or something of that nature, right? It seems cardio is best later on in the evening if you can get it in. And it seems weightlifting and things of that nature are best early in the morning if you can get that in. Of course, the best time to do them is anytime you can get yourself to do them. So, but again, if you do all those other things, it'll help regulate your chemicals, your chemical balance, and how regulated your chemical balance is determines how good you feel or how bad you feel. So that is very important. It determines how much energy you have, how well you're able to access that energy, and that energy is really a huge thing for people. For the most part, people feel high energy. They do a lot of productive things, and when they feel low energy, they don't. So discipline does come in there, where even if you feel high, low energy, you're still going to do the same things no matter what. And a lot of times, the flow state will help you by, you have to get into the flow state. You can't just arrive in flow. You have to use some effort on the entry point, and not until about 10, 20 minutes into something that feels challenging will flow state come in and carry you. And flow state, you can get 8 hours of stuff done in 1 hour. Or if you get into it during a workout, you have the best workout of your life. So cold exposure, right? 7 a.m. This dude is in an ice tub. Most people don't have access to an ice tub. So that's why I highly recommend cold showers. And cold showers are nowhere near as cold as the ice tub. I swam in the ocean today. It's only 62 degrees. Doesn't seem that cold, but most people would definitely find it pretty cold. And took a cold shower. I don't know how cold the shower is. Probably like somewhere between 50 degrees and 60 degrees if I had to guess. So it's nothing crazy at all. I don't have access to an ice tub, and I am looking into how to do that because I love the ice tub. You feel so great after, and I enjoy the meditation of it, the focus on lowering your adrenaline in the moment and staying calm. And it's a great time to really work on your breath. So 7:30 in the morning, he's getting his workout in. All right, he's a professor, so he's not exactly clocking in at 9 o'clock. So this may have to be earlier for you, or you can just get an 8 to 12 minute high intensity interval workout in the morning, right? Maybe first thing, maybe while you get your sunlight outside. And that really gets the heart pumping and really plays a role in the quality of the rest of your day. So he talks about his fitness toolkit. You could look this up. It's Andrew Huberman's daily routine. And then caffeine. He drinks coffee at 10 a.m. or what he says he likes yerba mate over coffee at 10 a.m. So we've talked about this delay caffeine for at least 2 hours to regulate adenosine. Yeah, to regulate adenosine, which is it's associated with like sleep with sleep, particularly as soon as you wake up, depending on which sleep cycle you were just in. And yeah, delayed intake of caffeine is of the utmost importance because if you don't delay it and you drink it right away the way most people do, then your body is becoming caffeine dependent and stops producing its own hormones. So you're really going against your own optimization by not delaying caffeine. The best way to use caffeine would be to delay it by 2 or more hours. Then you use the caffeine, right? Then your body has created its own wakeful chemicals, and now you're using the caffeine on top of it. Now you have something rather than just trying to break even with caffeine first thing in the morning. And then you really, if you have it right away, you end up in a cycle where you end up having 2, 3, or more coffees. The more you use caffeine, the less it works, just like any drug. And it's something that takes away from sleep. So if you're having caffeine within 6 hours of sleep, which most people are, it's making you tired because it's taking away from your sleep. And then in the morning you're tired, so you go and get caffeine, and then you crash, and then you have more caffeine and it doesn't work, and then you go to bed late, and then you feel like you're asleep, but then you wake up and you feel like shit, so then you have caffeine. This is the same drug user cycle as any other drug. So, and also it's discipline, right? You don't want to be just run by your habits, and you don't want to, like, to say that you need anything, I think is, just insane. But to say that you need coffee as soon as you wake up, I mean, it's really, really soft. So I think it's a really easy change, and something that you should definitely try at least a couple times a week, if not immediately every single day. So now it says Huberman does intermittent fasting. He only does about 12 to 16 hours. And I say only because that's not a lot. 12 to 16 hours, you're sleeping maybe 6 to 8 of those. So really you're just 2 on one end, 2 on the other end, right? But he's eating at 1 p.m. So it tells me he eats pretty late. And that's something you should definitely try too. I mean, if it's not 1 p.m., then maybe 10 a.m., 11 a.m. is your first meal. Again, waking up and getting right to the food, getting right to the coffee, it's a mistake. And there are things that you are not prioritizing that would make you feel better, like getting sunlight, getting hydrated, getting moving first thing, meditating, exercise. Instead of doing those things, you're getting right to the coffee maker and you're getting right to you're making your food. It's a waste of time and it's not making you feel any better. If anything, it could be contributing to making you feel worse. So again, so if he feels like he has some type of crash or something during the day, he'll do yoga nidra. Yoga nidra is really great. Any yoga is really great. But yoga nidra is basically just meditation. And yeah, again, this guy's a professor, so he's not on a normal 9 to 5 schedule, which is what is helping him stay so healthy as he ages. So then he does evening cardio. We mentioned that. Of course, the best time to do cardio is anytime you can get yourself to do it. But I definitely understand this because I do cardio first thing in the morning, and cardio really takes a lot of energy in a way that weightlifting doesn't. So weightlifting really makes you feel good, strong for the rest of the day. And cardio, if you really push yourself, even if you don't, but if you really push yourself on a daily basis, you can feel a little low energy or tired throughout the day. So definitely, I used to do evening cardio, really now I've changed it and something to play with, something to think about. Then he has his evening meal at 7 p.m. Eats 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. I'm actually surprised that he goes to bed what I would say is so late, right? Because someone else who's in the nutrition space, or someone else you may have heard of, Tom Brady, he goes to bed at 8:30 p.m. every single night, even though he's retired. This is a guy who's big into reverse aging, anti-aging, and he's devoted his life to that. And he goes to bed at 8:30 p.m. David Sinclair, he goes to bed, I think 8:30 p.m. every night. So obviously that's wild. But I definitely I feel way better when I go to bed that early, 100%. So I'm actually surprised that Huberman goes to bed at like 10:30, 11. But everyone is a different sleeper. Everyone is on different sleep cycles. There's 4 different types of sleep cycles, and if you know yours, then that can be really helpful, right? You're either a person that goes to bed early and wakes up early, or you go to bed late and wake up early, or you go to bed early and wake up late, or you go to bed late and wake up early. So there's 4 different cycles. You are one of them. You can switch into the others, but really naturally you are one of them. So you can battle and try and get yourself to be one of the others, but that those are the 4 sleep cycles. So everyone is different, right? He's only sleeping, I think, 6 hours. Like some people might say it's a lot, but the recommended amount is 9 plus. And a lot of health nuts are getting 9 plus hours of sleep. So sleep is and he actually his all 6 hours are not created the same for sure. This dude is really taking care of himself and he is his 6 hours are going to be a lot better than almost everyone else's 6 hours, right? He's eating right. He's optimized. He's getting up at the same time every time. He's going to bed at the same time every time. He's eating healthy. He's working out every day. He's doing deep mental focus. He's doing meditation multiple times a day. He's on top of it. He's just focused on every single aspect of his life and how to have the least amount of stress possible, but also how to use stress, right, through things like sauna, exercise, cold immersion. So his sleep is gonna be, fantastic in a way that other people's aren't. Also, he loves his job, he loves what he does. So obviously that has a huge impact on your quality of life. So part of his sleep is dim lighting. Avoid viewing bright lights. We've talked about blue lights and how particularly negative they are between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. You can abstain from blue light during that time. It is crucial for your sleep. Like most people are up late watching TV or on their computer, on their phone, scrolling TikTok before they go to sleep, and maybe even leaving the TV on overnight. You got that blue light flashing. Your brain sees and hears everything. So if you think you're getting away with that, you're not. You will find you will hear certain things, and they will seep into your dreams because your brain is still awake and your brain needs time to rest and reset, or else you're going to be dealing with a below below par brain and body, and it's going to be nowhere near your potential. So reading, right? That's really the alternative. Okay, if you're not going to be watching TV or whatever before sleep, then what can you do? You can read, you can meditate, you can write, you can talk to friends, you can talk to family, maybe spend some time with your pets, go for a walk, whatever. And then, this dude is also taking a bunch of stuff, taking a bunch of supplements, taking a bunch of vitamins, and his entire routine is revolved around getting the most quality sleep he can get. Here he shows his vitamin routine, his supplement routine, and yeah, as you know, it's interesting. I have my own routine. A lot of it is based off him and others like him, their routines that help inspire me, and most of it is trial and error, my own experiences, and being like, hey, well, if I take a cold shower first thing in the morning, that feels really good. Hey, if I go get a workout in first thing, if I get in the cold ocean first thing, that feels great. If I get sun, if I read, I write, if I sweat right away, that feels great. So it's constant tinkering and figuring out how you can implement these things into your own routine, but it is certainly worth it to the max because the alternative is not worth it at all. You become a lot more sensitive, and you create a lot more boundaries because you have to. That living a normal life will make you feel sick, and so you decide not to live a normal life ever again. And that is the decision, and you can do with that what you may. And either way, I appreciate you for listening. I hope you're not just listening. I hope that you're beginning to implement some strategies into your life, and I know that they can make an impact on you. And I look forward to hearing about your progress. So again, thank you for joining me. Couldn't appreciate it more. Please like, comment, subscribe, and see you soon. Peace.